Few people ever see what happens inside a royal kitchen, yet behind those quiet doors, strict rules shape every meal prepared for King Charles. Some rules seem gentle, like the way vegetables must be cut with care. Others feel surprising, such as the ban on certain common foods. And then there are rules that reflect deep personal beliefs about nature, health, and duty. Why would a king care so much about how an egg is boiled or how leftovers are handled? In this documentary, we explore 15 strange facts that palace chefs were asked to remember over many royal years. At first, the kitchen at Buckingham Palace may look like any other grand kitchen, with shining pans and quiet voices. But the calm hides a system that runs on memory and respect. Chefs have said they were expected to learn certain instructions word for word. If a detail was missed, the mistake could travel all the way to the royal table. That pressure creates a careful rhythm. If you enjoy calm stories like this, consider subscribing, and feel free to share a memory of a special meal in your life and leave a gentle comment below if you wish today. One of the most talked about rules concerns garlic. According to reports from former staff, garlic was avoided or used with great care. The reason was simple and human. Close meetings and long conversations fill a royal day, and strong flavors can linger. This rule may sound small, yet it shows how the kitchen serves not only taste, but also social comfort. Have you ever changed a recipe for the sake of others? In a palace, that question becomes a daily habit, quietly guiding each plate that leaves the stove and returns with quiet approval from those it serves daily. Another rule deals with eggs, a simple food that can reveal much about control. It is said that eggs were cooked to a very precise point, not too soft and not too firm. The texture had to be exact. This kind of care may remind us of earlier royal habits, when meals were timed and tested with strict attention. Why would such a small item matter so much? Perhaps because small details, when repeated every day, build a sense of order that supports a very public life for a king who meets many people and carries many duties each day. Temperature also had its own quiet rules. Certain dishes were served warm, not hot, to protect flavor and comfort. Sauces were balanced, not heavy. These choices reflect a preference for gentle eating. King Charles has long shown interest in organic farming and simple, fresh produce. That interest reaches into the kitchen. If this story feels familiar, you might like to subscribe and join our quiet journey through history. You can also share which simple dish brings you comfort, as many viewers enjoy hearing each other's memories, and leave a thoughtful note below so others can read and reflect together here. There is also a rule about waste, or rather the careful avoidance of it. Food was planned so that little would be thrown away. Leftovers could be used with care, turned into new dishes for staff or for later service when suitable. This approach reflects a wider concern for the environment, a theme often linked to the king's public work. Does a kitchen rule change how we think about the world outside? In this case, the answer seems to be yes, shaping habits beyond the palace walls in quiet ways that many visitors might never notice at first glance there. Some rules were about timing and silence. Orders were given in low voices, movements were smooth and planned. A busy kitchen can be loud, yet here calm was part of the craft. This may connect to the long tradition of royal service, where dignity is shown in small actions. Have you noticed how quiet spaces can change how we feel? In the palace, that quiet helps chefs focus and helps meals arrive with grace. It is a simple idea, yet it carries a deep sense of respect for those who will dine together in a shared calm moment for all. Finally, there were rules that spoke to tradition itself. Certain recipes were kept close to their original form, linking present meals to the past. At the same time, careful updates were allowed when they matched the king's values. This balance between past and present can be delicate. Should a royal kitchen stay the same, or should it change with the times? According to many accounts, it does both, holding memory in one hand and thoughtful change in the other, as each meal carries a story from yesterday into today. And if you enjoy these stories, please subscribe and share thoughts. As we continue, the deeper meaning behind these kitchen rules begins to appear. They are not only about food, they reflect a way of living that values care, balance, and quiet discipline. One rule often mentioned by former staff involves the strict use of seasonal ingredients. Fruits and vegetables were expected to match the time of year: strawberries in summer, root vegetables in winter. This was not only about taste, it was also about respect for nature. King Charles, long known for his interest in organic farming, believed food should follow the rhythm of the land. Have you ever noticed how food tastes better when it comes at the right time of year? Another interesting rule focused on portion size. Meals were not meant to be heavy or excessive. Plates were balanced, with just enough to satisfy but not overwhelm. This approach may seem simple, yet in a royal setting, where abundance is always possible, restraint becomes a choice. It reflects a personal discipline that extends beyond the table. Why choose less when more is available? Perhaps because control, even in small things, builds a sense of order in a life filled with constant attention. There was also a clear rule about presentation. Food had to look calm and natural. Chefs avoided over-decoration. Garnishes were used lightly. The goal was not to impress with show, but to offer quiet beauty. This idea may feel different from modern dining trends, where presentation can be dramatic. In the palace kitchen, simplicity carried its own elegance. Does beauty always need to be complex, or can it be found in something plain and honest? Another rule that surprised many people was the care given to tea. Tea, a simple daily habit for many, held special importance. The temperature of the water, the timing of the brew, even the type of cup used, all followed a careful pattern. Tea was not rushed. It was treated as a moment of pause. This reflects a wider royal tradition where small rituals carry deep meaning. Have you ever taken time to enjoy a simple cup of tea without distraction? The kitchen also followed rules about sourcing ingredients. Whenever possible, produce came from trusted farms, often linked to organic practices. This was especially true after 2005, when King Charles increased his focus on sustainable living. Meat, vegetables, and dairy were selected with care. This attention created a connection between the palace and the wider farming community. It showed that even a royal kitchen depends on the work of many unseen hands. Does knowing where food comes from change how we value it? Cleanliness was another key rule, though not in a strict or harsh way. It was about quiet pride in the space. Surfaces were kept clear. Tools were returned to their place. A clean kitchen allowed clear thinking. This idea may seem obvious, yet in a high-pressure environment, maintaining calm order requires discipline. It is not just about hygiene. It is about creating a space where focus can grow. Have you ever noticed how a tidy space can ease the mind? One of the more personal rules involved the king's preference for simple cooking methods. Frying was often avoided. Steaming, baking, and light grilling were preferred. These methods preserved the natural taste of food. They also aligned with a healthier way of eating. According to reports, this choice reflects a lifelong interest in well-being. Food was not only for pleasure, but also for health. In this way, the kitchen becomes part of a larger philosophy of care. There were also quiet expectations about communication. Chefs were expected to listen closely and speak clearly when needed. Instructions were not repeated many times. Memory played an important role. This created a culture of attention and respect. In such an environment, even small misunderstandings could have lasting effects. How often do we truly listen when someone speaks? A more unusual rule involved travel. When the king travelled, certain ingredients and preferences travelled with him. Portable kitchen systems were sometimes arranged to maintain consistency. This ensured that meals remained familiar even in new places. It may sound surprising, yet it shows how routine can provide comfort during busy schedules. Have you ever found comfort in familiar food while away from home? There was also a rule about avoiding overly processed foods. Freshness was valued above convenience. Packaged items were used sparingly. This approach aligns with broader concerns about health and sustainability. It reflects a belief that food should remain close to its natural state. In a world filled with quick options, this choice stands out as thoughtful and deliberate. Finally, there was a deeper rule, one that may not have been written but was clearly understood. Respect the food, respect the people, and respect the moment. Every meal, whether simple or formal, carried meaning. It was part of a larger tradition that connects past and present. This idea may be the most important of all. Food is not just nourishment, it is a quiet expression of care. As we move toward the final part of this story, the rules begin to feel less like strict orders and more like a quiet reflection of character. One often repeated expectation was about breakfast habits. According to accounts from former palace staff, breakfast was kept very simple and steady. Fresh fruit, light grains, and tea were common choices. There was little desire for change or surprise. This routine created a calm beginning to each day. Why might someone with such a busy life choose the same meal again and again? Perhaps because a simple start leaves space for more important decisions later. Another rule touched on the handling of special diets. Guests at the palace often came from many cultures and traditions. Chefs were expected to adapt meals with care and respect. Religious needs, allergies, and personal choices were all considered seriously. This required both skill and sensitivity. It also showed how the royal table could become a place of welcome. Have you ever felt truly valued when someone prepared food just for your needs? There was also a quiet rule about avoiding excess salt and sugar. Flavors were meant to be natural and balanced. This reflected a long-standing interest in health and well-being. Meals were designed to support energy rather than create heaviness. In this way, food became part of daily care. It was not only about enjoyment, but also about sustaining a demanding schedule. Does the way we eat shape the way we live? Another detail, often overlooked, was the importance of timing between courses. Meals were not rushed. Each course arrived with gentle spacing. This allowed conversation to flow and digestion to remain comfortable. In formal settings, this rhythm also helped maintain a calm and dignified atmosphere. It reminds us that eating is not only about food, but also about shared time. When was the last time you enjoyed a meal without feeling hurried? One more rule involved the careful use of traditional British dishes. Classics such as roasted meats, seasonal pies, and simple puddings were often prepared with respect for their origins. Yet they were not made heavy or overly rich. Instead, they were lightened to suit modern tastes. This balance between tradition and change reflects a wider royal approach. It honors the past while gently adjusting to the present. Can tradition survive without change, or does it need to evolve to remain meaningful? There were also expectations about the emotional tone of the kitchen. Stress was not meant to show outwardly. Even during busy events, chefs were encouraged to remain composed. This created an environment where focus could thrive. It also ensured that the dining experience remained peaceful. Guests would never see the effort behind the scenes. they would only feel the calm result. How often do we hide our own effort to create comfort for others? A more personal rule involved the king's long-standing support for local produce. Whenever possible, ingredients were sourced from nearby regions. This not only supported farmers, but also reduced the distance food traveled. It reflected a belief in community and responsibility. Food became a link between the palace and the wider world. It showed that even a royal table depends on the land and the people who care for it. There was also a thoughtful rule about menu planning. Meals were arranged in advance with careful thought. Balance, variety, and nutrition were all considered. This planning reduced waste and ensured consistency. It also allowed the kitchen to run smoothly, even during large events. In such a setting, preparation becomes a form of respect. It honors both the food and the people who will share it. As we reach the final moments of this story, the deeper meaning of these rules becomes clear. They are not only about control or preference, they reflect a life shaped by duty, awareness, and quiet intention. Each small choice, from the way an egg is cooked to the way a table is set, carries a sense of purpose. In the end, the royal kitchen is not just a place of cooking, it is a space where values are lived each day. It teaches us that even in the most ordinary acts, there can be care, respect, and thoughtfulness. Perhaps that is the most meaningful lesson of all, not the rules themselves, but the spirit behind them. A reminder that how we prepare and share food can say much about who we are and how we choose to live our lives with others in quiet and lasting ways.